my coach and my friend Sneha joining us. I was fortunate to learn a few things from her, and I have seen the passion and the effort that she had put in everything that she does. So it's an absolute privilege for us to have Sneha joining us today. Sneha, thank you so much for taking out time and joining me today.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for having me as a part of this amazing initiative that you've started.
I would first like to understand, Sneha, what has been your journey so far?
Definitely, sir. I think my journey has had a lot of ups and downs since my young age to me completing my graduation and post graduation. Um, and from there, so basically I was a kind of a student which was like probably a backbencher, like in the initial days of my college, having fun in class and outside class. But at the same time, there was this change that occurred in me, I think around third year of my college, where I started learning therapies and started exploring what psychology is all about. Okay, so my graduation and post grad, but in clinical psychology. And when therapies got introduced in my life, I just fell in love with what therapy can do for a person in general and how it can help elevate a person's mental and emotional suffering. So from there, I think with a lot of my experiences being on the clinical and organizational sides, I started my journey with the work with an NGO. So from there, we started, helping out kids in the rural areas with their mental health assessments, their counselings, and something which basically destigmatizes mental health in the rural areas of our country. So after working with almost 600 kids, then in just a span of 3 months, I was able to gain a lot more experience and a lot more courage to tackle the society in general. And then I started seeing a lot of differences and thoughts which were not aligning with mine in terms of work ethics or in terms of working hours or in terms of just the ability to do more uh, is what I felt I had. I mean, I did not want to limit myself to just something that was, focused on one area specifically. Whereas I could focus on more areas and help an individual develop on a more holistic level than what is being offered. And I think from there, I jumped to the corporate segment and I started working with organizations. I worked with the variety of organizations, may that be Tata or may that be Maersk or may that be, small organizations. So from startups to big enterprises, I worked with all of them, even banks and hotels and a lot more. But again, there was this thirst that was not getting quenched, which was I could help even more. Right. So I think from there, I decided that, okay, it's enough. Um, the corporate world is only going to, the word is misuse, and there are other words that can be used in terms of mental health, right? There's a lot of misuse of psychologists happening around. People are working for 12, 15 hours, they're taking 15, 20 sessions a day. And let me tell you, one session lasts for 45 minutes to an hour. And that session in itself is very taxing for us as individuals, as human beings, right? So a person taking on 15, 20 sessions a day, I mean, and then having the courage to live their own lives, that was a lot. And I saw that this is not happening in the world and it needs to happen. So I think that's where I sort of took a charge of my own life. I was like, enough for me to be working like that, and let's start helping others who are working in such conditions to have balanced work life where their mental health is supported. And I think that was my starting point. From there to now has been a crazy journey of my organization that I started as Happy Edition. It actually took me 6 months to find that name, Happy Edition. So it comprises happy, your happiness, and the journey, the expedition that follows in the thirst for happiness that we all crave. And I think that is what each of us are wanting, right? Khushi, we want
Agree.
happiness. So I think from yes, sir.
No, it's
So
very easy to say, but the starting an organization takes a very different courage. How is it progressing for you?
So there has obviously been, like, as we start up, there are lots of ups and downs that a entrepreneur has to face. And I started as a solopreneur, and I'm still working, a lot with a lot of consultants and a lot of people out there who are ready to make a change, ready to impact. And now I feel that I've started on a level where I didn't know how to handle business because I've never been from a business background, but from understanding what works in the market, to understanding what we can do for the people out there. I mean, from all of that to creating programs to help people, may that be for their emotional distress, may that be to learn or upgrade their personalities, may that be to develop the leadership. I mean, we've started an organization that works on um, building your happiness, building your holistic well-being, okay, focusing on your career development, your personality development, and your leadership skills. I think these are the five main pillars which a person needs to excel in their career. And if we are able to help a person individually in all of those areas together, that will create the change that the person wants in themselves. Because if the person doesn't want, then we can't help them, right? But if I think in today's generation especially, we are not that money oriented. We want balance, we want work life balance, we want a stress free environment to work on. Okay, we want basic things, like not having to work 12, 16, 18 hours a day. And I think that balance is very important to have a happy, healthy life in general. You have your work life and then you have a personal life. If you are focused on one, the other will get neglected, and then in the end you will end up being upset. So prevention is better than cure, is what I believe.
One thing I'm going to ask you a question. Okay, it's a bad question, but still I'm going to ask. Okay,
Sure.
sometimes when you look at a coach, right, conventional the concept of somebody reaching out and seeking help has always been in our culture largely that you reach out to somebody senior. Okay, and to somebody you go and reach out to somebody senior, talk to them, get their guidance and work, right? When somebody sees you, right, as a youngster, have you experienced that particular kind of reservation in terms of coming up and opening up with you, or even taking the conversation forward? Because just that age is something that plays a huge role at the back of the person who is seeking help in his mind.
Definitely, sir. I think, I mean, when I go to a lot of talks, I do a lot of talks with colleges and corporates and schools, and when we start sharing our journey, and when we start and when they're listening, first they are all like, okay, there is a random person who's come up to talk to us. They'll come, they'll talk for an hour, they'll go away. Right, but then you start connecting with them. Then you start making them question what is it that they are wanting, and then I think you just drop a seed in their brain. And I'm not saying that that's there with everyone. I'm saying even if you can drop that seed of curiosity, or that of zeal, or that ability that हाँ कुछ 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 अच्छा बनना है, या कुछ अच्छा करना है, या एक step आगे लेना है, just one step ahead. Even that much curiosity you can put, that a person can go back home and just read even one word of what I said, or even Google what that meaning of that word is. I think I've done my job, because from there on, the thought process starts to shift for that individual, right? So just one meeting, I feel, is able to impact and start that journey. And if you stay on that journey, I mean, you get through counseling, mentoring, or even coaching, I mean, that's transformative for sure, because that seed starts to take roots, and it starts to grow, and it starts to evolve and elevate and transform. So I think that's the beauty a person can hold to change and impact someone's life. And if used in the correct manner, I mean, I don't see there are any limits.
I completely agree. The one of the things that I'm observing currently in the industry today is that we have the generation, particularly in their 40s, is going through a very rapid change, which a lot of them are finding it very difficult to adapt. Okay, and a lot of them are trying to cope up in their own way, but the people who actually own up or who open up on those particular part is very, very substantially low. So a lot of challenges that are happening, particularly even if I dare say some of the deaths that are happening because of so-called work pressure and all, is somewhere on this particular part that somebody is not able to open up. So how do you encourage somebody to open up, speak up? That I believe is the first step.
Sir, I would like to answer this in two steps. Okay, one is your corporate population, the people that we deal with on a work level, right?
Yeah,
I mean, we run EAP programs, employee assistance programs, which basically help किसी भी organization, like any organization out there, it helps to create a safe space for their employees to come and share their problems. Okay. But at the same time, if we look at the rate of EAP being utilized by the employee population, out of 100 people, only 3 to 5 people come up to talk.
oh,
So if you have an organization of 100 people, only 3 to 5% of that population is going to come and take the help of that EAP program. Why? Because there is so much skepticism. If I share my issue and my boss or my HR gets to know, they will fire me. They will make fun of me. I will be judged for my depression or my anxiety. So this is one segment. Okay. And here's where confidentiality is involved, which helps to generate a little bit more, um, resonance with the employees, that whatever they'll be coming and sharing will remain confidential. Right? That is one element. And obviously we do a lot of ice breaking programs, a lot of programs which help the people to understand what mental health is, how you can elevate your mental health, what is suffering in general, what are the issues that a person can face. So we do a lot of awareness to bring people to understand that yes, there is a concern in your life which you were not aware about until now. But now that we've been sharing, information with you and you've become more aware, you see, yes, there are sleeping issues. You might have insomnia. You have difficulty falling asleep every single day. You might have anxiety or you might have depression. So 1 out of 4 people in the world are depressed. So if you have 4 people in a room, one person is depressed. That's the ratio of depression, and it's growing. Okay, I mean, it was not like कि depression पहले से existing नहीं था. Okay, this is, I think, one thing that is very prevalent, that depression didn't exist in our times back in 60s and 70s. Okay, it was there. People were not aware about it, that okay, this is something called depression. Okay, I think, and the other scenario, the second scenario is your general population, people like you and I. People who are living a normal life. Maybe I'm a homemaker, maybe I'm a stay-at-home mother, or I'm working from home. Nowadays, a work from home is very much elevated, and you're constantly in your own home, right? There are arguments. So just take a look at COVID. Starting May, like in starting of COVID, everyone was enjoying, time at home, cooking food,
yes,
making coffees, ice creams, and whatnot. I mean, all of us have had a time where we've cooked. We've never cooked in our lives, but we've cooked in COVID, right? So we've spent
yeah,
that time together with our family and we bonded.
yes,
But then COVID didn't end, and the time became too much time, right? And then those extra time led to arguments and fights and misunderstandings, right? And that's the story of almost every household out there, right? Um I mean, literally, that's the reality of our population. And the best way is that, when you are seeing someone who is not as they used to be, so for example, I am a very jolly person, and if I'm not being as jolly as you've seen me to be, or if I'm not communicating enough, if I'm not sharing enough, if I'm not, you know talking to you enough, if I'm just retreating in myself, if I'm not able to sleep properly, if I'm not able to, work properly, not able to focus or concentrate or things like that, then I think there is certain, disharmony with certain areas of our lives. And that is what is visible to you and I. But what we don't do is we don't talk about it. हाँ नींद नहीं आ रही है, you're not able to sleep. Oh, even I'm not able to sleep. You sleep for 4 hours. Oh, I sleep for 3 hours. But I'm able to function. And that functioning, is it doing you good or is it doing you bad? That's the question. See, again, a thought seed is implanted, and it starts running.
Yes, I think that is the very important part. Basically, the change in behavior that we see, we need to be very open about it. The other generation, one of the things that we did not see, at least during my time, was that when we were friends and when we were moving around, we moved around in a very different class with a very similar set of middle class people working together and more or less a homogeneous set of people who work together and evolve through the industry. What we see currently among the students is a very heterogeneous background, and that is particularly leading to a lot of challenges whether we are open about them or not. But when you start looking at the students, you realize that they come from different background, different financial background, different cultural background. But when they come together, it appears to be largely a group, but internally a lot of these dynamics, and that's why we are seeing a lot of mental challenges at a young age. What would be your guidance to these youngsters?
Okay, I think that's a wonderful question because I've seen this way often, and I do address this every single time I'm going to a school and college, every single time in a short 1 minute conversation. I think number one, yes, there's a lot of cultures that are getting mixed now. And especially, see, I'm from Delhi, and Delhi is like a mix of almost every culture in the world. I mean, you see every country person in Delhi, every state person in Delhi. Okay, and with so much cultural, diversity, yes, there will be some certain issues, in terms of, may there be financial backgrounds, may that be cultural backgrounds, or even religious backgrounds, right? There is certain kind of bias which is there, but that bias is called unconditional bias. Okay, unconscious bias. It's not, see, certain things, yes. So, for example, you are from Delhi and I'm from Delhi, and we're both working in Mumbai. Okay. And what will happen is that we will be more drawn to communicate with each other because we both belong to Delhi.
Yes,
Okay. If you are from Mumbai and you speak Marathi and now you are there in Delhi and Gurgaon and there we are all speaking English and Hindi and you find someone speaking Marathi, right? You will be like, "Arey, ikde ye." बोलायचं आहे. Right? So what happens is that you feel a little bit familiarity with the person. That's why you're more drawn to it. That's why it's called unconscious bias. You're not doing it consciously. It's happening, in your brain, subconsciously acting up. The important step is that no matter a workplace or a college or even, a normal party that you're going to, there will be diversity. The important factor is, do you know your unconscious biases? Are you aware about them? I would say spend time knowing what you feel when you meet a new person. So if you're meeting someone from, let's say, England, how are you behaving with the person? What are your thoughts in your head when talking to someone like that? Now imagine talking to someone from Haryana, and look, their Haryanvi is a strong language. It's very sweet. At the same time, it can be perceived harsh. Okay,
yes,
so what happens is, again, the cultural context comes into picture, right? So I might be like, oh, he's not able to speak English properly, or he or she's not able to converse properly, or not dress up properly, and that bias again comes into picture. But this bias is your conscious bias. You're consciously differentiating, oh, this person is not on my level. He doesn't talk the way I talk. He doesn't behave the way I behave. And that's where differences, and I would say even bullying comes into picture, right? All of those things start, sort of bullying happens at workplaces. This is called harassment also, right? So, I mean, the levels will differentiate, but it starts somewhere, right? And it
yes,
usually starts in your teenage and young adulthood when you're not, when your mind has been prone to other environments, and you've seen maybe in your families or in your other friends houses or relatives houses, and some way of treatment you've observed, and you start behaving like that. And again, that's happening unconsciously, you're not aware about it, right? So awareness, and secondly, start once you start becoming aware, start observing. So awareness, observation, And once you've done that, evaluate, is this thought right for you? Is it matching with your values, with your ethics? Okay, because a lot of times we are just I would say enraged by media and the things that media shows up, and uski bhav bhav mein aake, we act up. But let's look at Ganpati Visarjan just happened. Every religion, every person, who enjoys that festival in Maharashtra, and not just Maharashtra, it's celebrated almost everywhere in India,
Yeah.
in its own ways and contexts, right? But the amount of people it brings on the road, that's unity. And it's not driven by religion or class or anything else. So both things can happen, right? Which one is your value? Which one is working with your belief, your ethics? That's important. Start looking for that, and you'll start to differentiate your unconscious from your conscious.
These are amazing thoughts here, Sneha. My follow-up question on this particular topic is that how can someone start this journey? Can there be a portion or an opportunity for a self-discovery, self-assessment before the help is sought? Or what is the point in time wherein they should go and seek help?
I think this is one of the most important questions, I would say. Number one, there is help available everywhere. There are free helplines. There are, hospitals like AIMS, Safdarjung, RML Hospital, which literally offer Gangaram Hospital. They have a free counseling and therapy cell. Okay, you can go and ask for therapy. If you don't want to go in person, there are numbers available online. There's Sneha Foundation, there's Vanderwalla Foundation, there's suicidal helplines. If you want to talk about, if you're feeling that way, so you can access that help. Okay, when do you require help? That's the number one. Again, number one, when you see that it's not just mental health disorders, but you're struggling with something in your life. May that be work, may that be in a relationship, may that be just you want to discuss, your daily stress and not with a friend. Okay. I mean, for anything, you can reach out to a counselor, a therapist, and they'll be able to help you regulate your thoughts and make sense of your thoughts. Okay. Um, when do you know that you're struggling? Number one, your sleep will be impacted. Either you'll be sleeping a lot or you'll be sleeping a lot less. Number two, your appetite will be impacted. You might eat a lot or you would stop eating often. Okay. And then there is mindless eating or binge eating. You are just watching a movie and you finish 2 packets of chips, and you finish, one bottle of Coke, and you've ordered Zomato, and then you keep on keeping on eating and eating and eating. That's mindless eating. Your stomach is full, but you yet eat. Why? Because your brain is hyperactive mode. Uh, so that's number two. I think after this, you'll see changes in your behavior, your mood. Are you are you behaving the same way that you used to with the same people? You might see. So, for example, if I am angry at someone, my behavior towards that person will be changed a little bit. The other person will feel that yes, something is wrong. Sneha, what's going on? Are you angry with me? Why? Because I might not want the person to know, but still unconsciously it's there in my brain. So it will revolve. It will come up in my behavior. And once it shows up in your behavior, the other person will become aware. So behavioral cues are, I would say, see, 7% is your language, right? Other is your body language and your gestures and your other factors that come into picture. So imagine the impact that a person will have, right? So there will definitely be changes in the body language, in the behavior, in the mood of the person. Okay, irritation, anger, frustration will become more. You'll start feeling irritated often. Okay, you'll start feeling angry often, or you might go into isolation. When, whereas you have your friends, you can go out and meet them anytime, but you don't feel like it. See, sometimes it's okay. I mean, you require your own time as well, right? I mean, I would say me time is very important. For any person, 15 minutes, 15, 20 minutes a day, you should have your time with yourself, with your thoughts. But other than that, your time with your friends. Earlier, 2 hours, 3 hours, you're talking to them, you're meeting them, you're going out. Now it's been a month, 2 months, and you're not going out, you're talking as often as you were. And again, there's low mood. When I say low mood, you've lost interest in your activities that you used to love. I love singing. I stopped singing. I used to love writing, and that's happened with me. I used to love writing poetry and writing things. And when I went into depression way back, I mean, I stopped doing things that I used to enjoy. And it was overwhelming at a point of time. And your anxiety increases, lots of things you can notice in your life. And let me tell you, you'll see at least 4 or 5. And if you see at least 4 and 5 of these signs and symptoms, that means you need help. Either would say, even for one symptom, just talk to someone and see if it's okay, if it's normal, if it's just because of stress, or is there something deep rooted in your mind. Never goes wrong to just be preventive, right? Uh,
Absolutely. I think this is an amazing thing that you have shared. Yeah, this will be the right starting point for everyone, and this will be the message for people to be open up, to be first to be aware. Once they are aware and they realize then it's important to open up, you can start with a friend or you can seek help and seek that help as early as possible so that you're ensuring that that is not snowballing into something much more significant. Thank you so much, Neha, for all these insights. I believe that this conversation is going to help many youngsters in becoming more aware about themselves and also take the action in time. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for having me. And just one last piece of thought, guys, it's okay to get help. Okay, it's okay to ask whenever you feel like, to go for therapy or counseling. And lastly, I would say there are lots of means that we can help you. You can reach out to us, even to your teachers, your parents. And if you don't feel that they're the safe people, then reach out to me personally. I don't mind helping you in whatever means that I can. Okay, so just putting that out there, and I hope you're able to tackle your mental health issues or even your general life issues with the power and resilience that's needed to lead our own lives. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.